Welcome to the Mamas to Fit YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down what I am doing to prepare for birth in my second trimester. Hey, my name is Gina. I'm currently pregnant with my fourth baby, and I want to share with you what I am doing to help support my preparation for birth in the second trimester. I'm a perinatal fitness trainer and own Mama Stay Fit, which is a prenatal and postpartum fitness training company located here in Aberdeen, North Carolina. And so I exclusively train people during their pregnancies and their postpartum phase, both online and in person. And I am a birth doula. And so I have this combined experience of not only supporting people throughout their pregnancies with fitness training, but also supporting them during their birth. And so I have firsthand experience of what we probably need to help support us during our pregnancy as we prepare for birth. In this circuit, we're going to do 3 different movements. The first is going to be hips elevated breathing drill. That's going to be targeting the bottom of the pelvis and helping to release the posterior pelvic floor where a lot of us have a little bit more tension. The second movement is going to be the 90-90 side camel with a little bit of internal rotation. So this is going to be targeting a lot of different things. 2 muscles that tend to be a little bit tighter during pregnancy due to our common postural tendencies, which is a more extended spine position, is our lats or our back musculature and our hip flexors. So those are located here on the front side of the pelvis. Both of those muscles pull the pelvis more forward into this more anterior position. And while this is not necessarily problematic, it can be hard for us to find a more posterior position or tucked butt position, which is important to create space in the top of the pelvis from front to back. And so if your baby's having a hard time entering into the pelvis, it could be that you're having a harder time creating that space with that posterior pelvic tilt. And so with the 90-90 side camel, we're not only going to be releasing the lat musculature with a side body opener, we're also going to be releasing the hip flexors to help us find this more tucked position to create more space within the pelvis. The final movement is going to be an all fours hip shift, which is going to be targeting, again, that posterior pelvic floor, but we're going to be targeted asymmetrically. So one half of that pelvic floor is going to be stretched more so than the other to help really release tension in there and to improve hip mobility. So I'm including those 3 movements into my daily prenatal routine to not only prepare my body for birth, but also to help create more space in my pelvis to make it easier for my baby to navigate through. So let's go ahead and get started. For this workout, it's pretty minimal equipment. You're just going to need a yoga block or a stack of books, a mini band, and then if you want, we can have a pillow to elevate the hips for the breathing drill. So for the first movement, I'm going to start with my hips elevated on a pillow, and it's maybe like 2 to 3 inches from the wall. And my legs are going to be more than a 90-degree angle. So my feet are much higher than my knees. And I'm going to drive my heels into the wall. Then I'm going to take my yoga block, place it between my knees and my thighs. And I can have a little bit of internal rotation where my feet are a little bit wider than my knees. From here, I'm going to drive my heels into the wall as I drag them down to really turn on my hamstrings. And this is going to help pull the bottom of my pelvis more open to help stretch that posterior pelvic floor while I simultaneously squeeze the knees into this block, which is going to help turn on the inner thighs, which also assists with opening the bottom of the pelvis. And so I'm going to squeeze and drive the heels down and then breathe here for about 10 breaths. So big inhale in. So when I inhale, I'm thinking breathe into the back half of my pelvic floor or breathe into my back. And then when I exhale, I'm thinking lift the front half of my pelvic floor as if I'm trying to pull my rib cage and pelvis closer together. So big inhale into the back. And then exhale, think lift in the front. So really drive the heels into the wall like you're trying to pull them down the wall, but they're not actually changing position. To turn on those hamstrings, squeeze the yoga block. Big inhale into the back. Exhale, lift in the front. About 3 more breaths here. Keep driving the heels down without moving them to really fire those hamstrings. Big inhale to the back. And last one, exhale, lift in the front. The next movement is going to be the 90-90 side camel, and then we'll finish with some internal rotation. So I'm going to start in this 90-90 position with one leg in front in external rotation and the other leg behind in internal rotation. And then I'm going to lift up the arm towards the external rotated side. And I'm going to reach towards the internally rotated side to feel a big stretch through this lat. Then I'm going to take that hand, place it behind me, fully extend in the hips, and I'm going to feel a big stretch through this hip flexor. I can almost think like tuck my butt underneath at the top to really intensify the stretch there. Lower down, and then come back to the side body opener, and just alternating between the two. I'm going to do about 10 here. So I'm coming to the side body, feel a big stretch there. Reach behind, extending the hip for that hip flexor stretch. And then just alternating between the two, taking your time, because we don't necessarily need to rush through these mobility exercises. So big reach and behind. Big reach and behind. About halfway done. Last one. So now I'm going to take this yoga block and place it underneath my ankle so my hip is in a little bit more internal rotation. And then from here, I'm going to lean towards the internally rotated side and breathe here for about 10 breaths. So big inhale, feel my side body expand as if my ribs were like spreading apart from one another. And then exhale, lift the front half of the pelvic floor. About 2 more breaths. Last one. And let's go ahead and switch sides. So now I'm going to place my other leg in front and the opposite leg behind me. You may find that one leg feels a little bit easier than the other. So reaching towards the internally rotated side, reach behind to extend in the hip, sit back down, reach to the side, reach behind. So again, you should feel a big side body stretch as you reach overhead. And then at the top, think like you're trying to tuck the butt underneath to feel that hip flexor a little bit more. So tucking the butt underneath. And so these two movements to help release the lat tension and then also to release the hip flexor tension can help your baby enter into the top of the pelvis because it's going to make it easier for you to find that posterior position, which is really important to helping baby be able to engage because it creates more space front to back in the top of the pelvis. Do about 2 more. Last one. And then grabbing onto your yoga block to do the internal rotation now. So I'm going to place it underneath my ankle and then try to get comfortable in this position. So you want to put a little bit more weight towards that internally rotated side so that we're feeling more like the release and stretch there, but not so much that it's painful. So big inhale into that side body. Exhale, release. Last one. So moving on to the final movement, the all fours hip shift with mini band. You're going to take the mini band, put it above your thighs, and then we're going to take the yoga block and place it underneath one knee. And so with this movement, I'm first going to shift my weight over to the elevated hip. When I do that, I should be able to lift the lower knee without my position changing. If I haven't shifted over, if I try to lift, you'll see that I have to shift my position in order to do that. So I'm shifting my weight over, so that I can lift this leg and it doesn't move. And then I'm gonna slightly hover in my lower knee, but keep it lower than the yoga block. And I'm gonna drive the band out. So it kind of comes like down and out when you press out, but I'm really focusing on keeping it lower than the block. And then from here, I'm going to do some pelvic tilts. So I'm arching in my back and then rounding in my back. I'm gonna do about 10 of these while really thinking, push that band out. So every time I round in my back, I like to exhale because I'm bringing my rib cage and pelvis closer and really focus on driving that glute out. When this glute is activated, it helps push you into the opposite hip more, which can give you more of a release in that posterior pelvic floor. This also helps to open the lower mid-pelvis, where if there's an issue with baby's rotation, you may experience it there because they're trying to get underneath that pubic bone. And so this can help to create more space in that lower mid-pelvis. And hip shifts are also really important for pelvic stability. Okay, about one more here. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So again, I'm gonna shift my weight over towards that elevated hip so I can lift this knee and I don't have to change my position. Slightly hover, but keep that knee lower than the block. It might be a little bit more down and out. And then move through the pelvic tilts. Every time you round on your back, drive that band out because it'll like slowly get closer and closer as you go. One more. So that concludes what I'm doing daily to help prep my body for birth. These movements are going to help to release some common areas of tension that you may be experiencing during your pregnancy. So one, they may just help you feel more comfortable, but more importantly, they're helping you to create more space in your pelvis to make it easier for a baby to navigate through and releasing some common areas of pelvic floor tension. So if you enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you want more workouts like this and exercise to not only help keep you strong and comfortable throughout your pregnancy, but also help you prep for birth, join our online prenatal fitness programs. Our prenatal fitness programs are not only going to offer you lifting modifications so that you can lift weights safely throughout your pregnancy, but also tons of exercises to support your birth preparation with pelvic opening and also pelvic floor release and pelvic stability. If you want to check them out, you can check them out on our website at mamasayfit.com and use code YouTube10 to get 10% off our prenatal fitness programs, which you can bundle with our childbirth education course if you want to learn more about what types of movements open the pelvis when it comes to birth, labor positions, comfort techniques, and all of the info when it comes to navigating your birth experience. We can bundle them for 50% off, add on that code, and you get 25% off. So if you enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you get notified whenever we release new videos. Release one new workout video every week and 1 or 2 educational videos as well.